a snack for later. Welcome back to the 6th episode of the podcast. I'm here with Nicky K. What's going on, dude?
I'm good.
Awesome, good to hear. So Nicky K, she is a cinematographer. She does video production. She's made quite a few short films, works with some industry professionals. You want to talk about that? Talk about what you've done?
Yeah, sure. I have a YouTube channel, and that's where I got started. And I made one short film, 2 short films actually. One has just pretty much blown up, I guess. I got interviewed by the local news station in Las Vegas yesterday, and it was pretty cool. It's bringing awareness to teen depression and suicide, and I make visual films as well, and I usually get models for that, and I just put together visually pleasing videos, and I match them up with the beat so it flows really well.
For sure. So I understand you just recently did a music video for somebody for a freestyle rap. You want to talk about your experience with that and how that went down?
You want me to be honest?
You know what? Just for the sake of it, go ahead. Talk about just the video production experience, and then also how it was working with the guy himself. A few episodes ago, we talked about with Braylon Selvig about planning with people and setting up a venue and working with clients. And we talked about how difficult that can sometimes be. She actually has a really good story about this. If you want to, you don't have to go into grave detail, obviously, if it really bothers you,
Yeah,
but talk about what you are comfortable talking about.
So the guy that I worked with, he's an amazing musician. He's a great rapper. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing music-wise, but business-wise, he's just mean. And he didn't give me credit. He gave me credit with the snippet that he posted, teasing his fans, oh, this is coming out soon. But this magazine picked it up, Elevator, and they posted it on their article website, and then they posted it on YouTube, my video, and I gave myself credit. I put my logo in it and everything, which was a smart move, because they didn't give me credit at all, and they didn't give the producer of the song credit at all, and that video is now at 17,000 views.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So, and the video that I posted, on my channel, has over 100 views.
That's not terrible, especially for a smaller YouTube
compared to that,
channel.
it's
right.
humiliating.
Right.
And the fact that they didn't give me credit, and I talked to him about it, and he was just why should I tell them to give you credit?
Oh.
I'm because it's the right thing to do, to give someone credit. And we just argued back and forth, and his business ethics were terrible, and it was just an amazing lesson to learn, honestly, because I'm creating my own company soon.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and attorneys are getting into the situation, and I'm gonna have my own lawyer, and we're gonna get contracts made so something like this will never happen again, and my stuff is protected. And so if someone tries to rip the YouTube off of me, tries to rip the video off of me, then
you'll have the legal binding. Yeah, for sure. So on this episode of The Vast, we're going to talk about editing tips. Nicole's going to give us some editing tips, and it basically just going to show you how to edit faster, more efficiently, give yourself a better style, things along those lines. The video that she did edit was full of effects and transitions, and I'll go ahead and show you guys a preview of that right now.
I flip the order and I pick it up. Bodies hit flows, we don't pick them up. I hit the door, then I hit the clutch, hop in the whip with the tool and I fix them up. Pockets like Nutty Professor. Them bitches still can't get thick enough. He go get still, it's gon' stick him up. He go sit still when I lift it up.
All right, so just from what I showed, every frame seemed to have something new going on, and everything was just a little bit different. What was your process for doing that?
Well, this guy, Max Novak, I found on YouTube. He has a bunch of tutorials on trippy music video effects, and his effects are like pretty much inspired by Cole Bennett, who is a music video producer, and I was inspired by him a lot with this music video, and I downloaded a bunch of Max's presets, and that's key when you're doing something like this, is presets, and you also have to do keyframing, a lot of it. So music videos usually take a lot of time and a lot of patience. It's definitely tedious.
Tedious, yeah.
Tedious.
Sounds about right. Yeah, I can definitely imagine. Do you have any shortcuts or things that would make editing something like that a lot easier?
Well, just look at free presets, because that can take a lot of time away with keyframing, and also use shortcuts. Like if you click C on your keyboard, that'll show up with the razor tool, and you can cut like that. And if you want to bring two clips together, just click the space in between them and click delete, and it'll bring the clips back together and stuff like that. So just find shortcuts like that, and you should be good to go and everything.
No, yeah, definitely. I agree. And there are a bunch of different audio shortcuts and video shortcuts that you can use as well. And like outside of that, just the basics, hitting V to go back to your regular cursor, hitting C to cut it, like you said, hitting X to size it if you want to make it faster or slower. There are a lot of different things you can do, and learning them I think is really, really, really beneficial.
Yeah.
As far as making your video look nicer, what do you recommend in editing?
If you want to make it look more cinematic, use 1080p black bars, and you can find those like on Google Images and stuff, and just resize it within post so it matches within the frame. That's a big thing. And also color correction. You can use color correction presets, and you can download those for free. Just look up like YouTube videos, like that's what I did, and cinematic color correction, and a bunch of stuff will come up, and you could just download those, import them into Premiere Pro, and then you're all good to go and just drag them onto the clip. And that's also a big thing to make your footage look more cinematic.
All right, so it sounds like YouTube is sort of a big resource for you. How long have you been doing videos and learning from YouTube? Because I'm sure you've learned quite a bit from the internet.
Yeah, I've learned pretty much everything I know from YouTube. It's been like 4 years, and I've been making YouTube videos for 2-3 years.
That's pretty cool. That sounds awesome. All right, so editing on beat. You mentioned that you work with those feature films or those visual films, right? And for each of that, you have to edit on beat. So what does that mean, and how does it work, and how do you do it?
So I usually try to find music with like a good like bass on it, and like when you put it into Premiere Pro, you like expand the audio track, and you can see where the bass like just spikes up, and that's where you want the clip to change, or that's where you want your transition, and that's what I mean by editing on beat, so it can flow really well.
I'm gonna jump off of our little script here for a second. For audio design, how do you work with audio design? When do you make it? Do you take some? How does that work?
On my computer, actually, I have some examples, but I usually, like, if there's water flowing in the video, you would want to have like some sort of waterfall sound effect, so it can feel like the audience is like really there. Or if you have like a helicopter or a plane flying by, you would want the plane flying by sound effect, or the helicopter like whooshing sound effect.
So really it's just like a lot of adding audio effects in post rather than on the scene.
Yeah, and you want to add it at the right spot
Right. So what's the benefit of doing that over just having like the natural river sound, or rather than using the natural river sound? What's the pro of putting a one in post?
One in post? Like, what do you mean?
Like using a different river sound effect than you would than on your set.
You can use something like on your set if you like remember, but usually I just don't, and I just get it from like my sound effects folder, and getting one from your set, it actually would help because it adds that, you know, natural detail to your film.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Then you can most likely use that asset for future points too.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, I'm going to call it a quick halfway point there. We're going to check out our frame. Nicole's going to pull out her laptop. She's going to do a bit of a demo for us, show us around her editing layout, how she does things, and then we'll get right back in with it. But for now, I think we need to check out our picture frame. So this is done every week by Justin Lee. We never know what it's going to be. He threatened me with putting a phallic image in there once, but so I'm always scared. It's Sean Adams. It's Sean Adams. This Aslan is gonna love this podcast. I'm just gonna put him right there. Keep him out, not flip him back. All right, so we'll be right back. Nicole's gonna pull out her laptop, and we'll see you in a minute. All right, we're back. Nicole has her laptop out. Nicole, do you want to talk about what is on your screen right now and what we're looking at?
So this is my short film, The Signs, and as you can see, it's a lot of stuff going on. There's the logo. So yeah, that's basically it.
Right. It does look like a lot of cuts and clips and all that. How long did this take you to edit?
It took about nonstop editing for 2 weeks.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So just kind of in between schoolwork and all of that.
Yeah, sure.
Or just go with schoolwork on the back burner.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. All right. So as far as your editing layout, do you want to explain how you have it set up? If you have it set up any specific way, any specific things that you use that you use that might be out of the norm, or that you just find enjoyable and it helps you edit?
Yeah, for sure. Over here, I have my effects controls, and over here I have like the media player, so I can watch my film on there. And over here I have my project folder, and I could just scroll, and I usually have it in list form, so it just, doesn't take up a lot of space.
Right.
And over here also I have my audio, and I have my source for the clips. So if I just, like double click on something like the black bars, it'll show up. Or if I double click on something like audio, it'll bring up the source, and I can edit within here and then drag the audio onto over here.
Okay, for sure. So you mentioned earlier that you have a preset folder for audio, sound effects, and all that. Would you mind showing us that and showing us your little stock collection?
Yeah. I can go into desktop, go into YouTube. So I got it from this guy named Josh. He's on YouTube. He had like this whole folder of just like sound effects, and he made it available for download. So I was like, I'm gonna pick that up. So it has like a bunch of things like air traffic control. It has guitar, guns, machinery, radio. It has a bunch of things.
So it's got like a whole spectrum of sound, audio, anything that you would
Yeah.
really ever need.
And whenever I need something, I add it to this folder.
Okay, for sure. I'm also going to go a bit off script here. When you're doing transitions, do you use the default transitions in Premiere? Do you use external transitions? How do you work with that?
I use external transitions. I use presets for those as well. Like I use a lot of how do you zoom in and zoom out or rotating transitions. I downloaded those off the internet.
Right, and can you do those in Premiere, or is that something you have to take out and do a different program for?
It's within Premiere.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I might need to hit you up after that. The only one I know about is After Effects.
Really?
Yeah.
Premiere is where it's at.
As far as color correction, would you mind showing us the process you'd go through to color correct a scene or a shot?
Yeah. So I go into basic correction, and on the input LUT, I downloaded LUTs from the internet, and you go into browse, and I can just go into the LUTs pack, or I go into my Peter McKinnon LUT pack, or I have a bunch of LUT packs, and you just double click on it. Like I'm gonna double click on clean and tidy, and it changes it like that. Obviously that doesn't look good.
Right, so it's just trial and error at that point, really.
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
Perfect. All right. Do you have any other notes or comments you'd like to add? Any other bits of advice?
Go subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Go subscribe to her
Nicky K.
YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and put an annotation right here at the bottom of the screen for you guys to go look at it.
I make a bunch of videos.
Yeah, she does vlogs, she does videos. It's a good watch. I definitely recommend it. I think we're going to wrap up the Vast podcast there. If I don't wrap it up now, the bell is going to interrupt us again, just like Miss Rosar did. So rude. Thank you for coming on the podcast today. It was great talking to you.
Thanks for
having
having
me. Had a lot of fun. Bye! I probably screwed up my microphones.
Yeah.